Good evening. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network presents the DCTV 4-H Evening News Program for January 30, 2018. Camera person, Daniel. Video engineer, producer, and sound engineer, Devin. Teleprompter and prompter, Myra. News anchor, Nicholas. Meteorologist, Hannah. This is your news director, Edward. Now, the news.
Good afternoon and welcome to the DCTV 4-H Evening News and Weather Program. Help keep our kids' news show on the air by becoming a sponsor. By sponsorship, just call 970-677-4119. The stories are in Denver Post. Ford patents driverless police car with the ambushes lawbreakers using AI. Imagine a police car that issues tickets without even pulling you over. What if the same car could use artificial intelligence to find good hiding spots to catch traffic violators, identify drivers by scanning license plates, tapping into surveillance cameras, and wirelessly accessing government records? The details may sound far-fetched, they belong to science fiction action flick, but these scenarios are very much grounded in a potential reality. They come from a 14-page patent developed by Ford and granted earlier this month by the U.S. government to create autonomous police cars. While autonomous police vehicles can and will be programmed to obey traffic laws, the human driver can override that program to control and operate the vehicle at any time, the patent says. The patent claims that the autonomous police vehicle don't necessarily replace the need for human police officers. Some routine tasks, such as issuing tickets for failure to stop at a stop sign, can be automated, but the patent also outlines various scenarios in which autonomous police vehicles would be able to carry out many tasks we associate with human officers. Patent says the vehicle would be able to communicate wirelessly with other vehicles on the road and determine whether a vehicle is in self-driving mode or being controlled by a human driver. Patent says the offending vehicle would be able to communicate with the police car as well, providing a driver's license, for example. Good grief, now our cars will be telling on us. Following sources in the Cortez Journal. Yesterday, we reported on a local article in the journal about Narcan. One of our former EMTs told us about her experience in using Narcan on an ambulance here in Dove Creek a few years ago. The EMTs were told that the patient did have prescription opioid medication for their severe pain. Cases of accidental overdose, EMT called the Cortez Hospital, relayed the symptoms, and asked for the doctor authorized to use Narcan, which he did. The EMT said that the patient's reaction to the Narcan made her think of a miracle. It really works fast, and just seconds after giving the patient regained consciousness. Since Narcan only reacts to opioids, and the dose is quite small, it can't endanger anyone if it is given for anything but opioids. Of course, it doesn't work on anything but opioids either. The EMTs were very relieved, since they feared the patient might not make it to hospital alive, and no EMT wants to have a patient die right before their eyes. Just a reminder, if you take one of the opioid painkillers, be careful not to accidentally overdose. Severe pain can really mess up your thinking and memory. Also, the last our EMT friend knew, only paramedics and intermediates can give Narcan. Here in Dove Creek, we can have a problem having a paramedic or intermediate available each time they are needed due to a small number of EMTs at home when called. Many thanks to those who do volunteer to be an EMT and to the sheriff and dispatchers and deputies who help on the ambulances, as well as peacekeeping jobs they do. The following stories are during the Herald. Report avalanche victim drifted into gully he intended to avoid. It's only a minor mistake, but one with deadly consequences that caused an avalanche between Silverton and Red Mountain last week, killing a 27-year-old Durango man. According to the final report on the accident, similar to getting lost in a big city, Ethan Green, director of Colorado Avalanche Information Center. You do your research, you get disorientated, and then you end up in the wrong neighborhood. It doesn't need to happen, and it shouldn't, Green said, but sometimes it does. On January 21st, human-triggered avalanche occurred in a steep gully in a popular backcountry skiing spot known as Sam's Trees on the south side of Red Mountain Pass, near mile marker 77 on U.S. Highway 550. The avalanche was recorded at 18 to 22 inches deep and 240 feet wide and released the entire season's snowpack built up in the gully. CAIC said. The avalanche resulted in the death of Abel Palmer. According to the final report, the incident conducted by CAIC, Palmer and his team partner had looked up the avalanche danger that day and specifically decided to avoid the steep gully in question. Palmer accidentally entered gully, triggering an avalanche. Efforts to revive him, which included nearly 3 hours of CPR that lasted until after dark, were unsuccessful. Now here are dumb laws in Michigan cities. In Grand Haven, no person shall throw an abandoned hoop skirt into any street or any sidewalk under penalty of a $5 fine for each offense. Harperwood, no persons shall throw an abandoned hoop skirt into a street or a sidewalk under any penalty for $5. That was a repeat, apologies. In Kalamazoo, it's against the law to serenade your girlfriend. In Rochester, all bathing suits must have been inspected by the head of police. In Sioux, smoking while in bed is illegal. In Wayland, anyone can keep their cow on Main Street downtown at a cost of 3 cents per day. Now for the weather with Hannah.
Current temperature is 52 degrees. The high for today was 54 degrees. The low was 30 degrees. The barometer is at 30.16 inches and is falling. The humidity is at 26%. The wind has been between 1 and 6 miles per hour from the northwest. Gusts have been up to 15 miles per hour from the northeast. There has been no hundredths of an inch of moisture measured today by the DCTV weather station. Moisture for the month is 0.69 hundredths of an inch. Moisture for the year is 0.69 hundredths of an inch. And now for the big map. The coast from Washington into Oregon, rain, snow mixed with rain. Snow is falling from the eastern Washington and Oregon into the Dakotas and end of Wyoming. That most of the rest of the nation is clear. There is no snow from Minnesota into New York. Of course, Florida has rain. Huh? There is snow from Minnesota into New York. Of course, Florida has rain. Wednesday, partly sunny, high 49, low 28. Thursday, Thursday, high 51, low 30. Friday, partly sunny, high 53, low 29. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 52, low 28. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 51, low 28. Now for our climate change report. CO2, carbon dioxide, is one of the principal causes of climate change. It is important that we report the CO2 weekly change. CO2 traps heat in the atmosphere, which causes climate instability, resulting in significant swings worldwide in moisture and hot and cold temperatures. But it is important to note that the overall long-term climate trend is that the planet is warming. The following are the CO2 numbers in parts per million. For the week of January 28th, this week, 408.30. Last week, 407.92. 1 year ago, 406.84. 10 years ago, 386.22. 50 years ago, 322.50. Thank you, Dr. Peter Tanz of the National Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration and Michael McGee of the CO2 Earth website for this information. Thank you. Remember, you can help keep our kids' news show on air by buying a sponsorship. To buy a sponsorship, just call 970-677-4119. Thank you. Now back to our news director.
That's all, folks. That's the end of today's DCTV 4-H news program. This is your news director, Edward. Good night, and thank you for watching us.